There are those who are not called, who think they are, but they're not. Because those who are not called usually don't last
Wow.
in ministry. They eventually fall away, fall apart, disappear of the scene, all that. Because they can't manage the pressure. They can't handle the accusations, the attacks. They focus more on their name than his name.
Wow. Wow.
They worry about what people say about them.
In terms of their reputation.
Yeah, yeah. So when you know you're called, nothing matters. In other words, you don't worry about what people say about you.
Wow.
Or what they think about you, because you know you're called.
Yeah, but I mean, I grew up in ministry, so I grew up watching my dad do ministry. And so I've always known that, serving God goes with accusations. And,
Totally.
Jesus said it, they hated me, they'll hate you. And I think the world will always hate people who serve God. We will always see.
Of course they will.
But I don't think most young people think that there's that danger in ministry. A lot of young people who get into ministry get so surprised that their names are all over social media or that there's stories all around about them. And
my point is, when God calls you and you know it, those things do not affect you.
Right.
There's peace.
Yes, but it is something to be prepared for.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that comes with ministry.
Absolutely.
And I don't think most people realize that. I think people think, I don't know, that being a pastor, serving God, being God's servant doesn't go with, it's a surprise.
Well, when I started in the ministry, I did not know what kind of attacks would come. But as they came along, as a human being, naturally, I wasn't happy. But something happened to me one day.
Okay.
That settled everything.
Right.
When the news media came at me, I was sitting one day in prayer, and I thought to myself, I'm not that smart to fill stadiums. I'm not that smart to do all that has been done. Even though I knew the Lord called me, it was like a wake-up moment of this. There's no way I could have done any of this. Because when I was young, I used to stutter. I couldn't even talk.
Wow.
I was the guy who would hide in the yard in school in case the kids would make fun of me.
Wow.
And God chose the weak things, it says, the base things, to confound the things that are mighty. And then I thought to myself, there's no way this is done by my intelligence or know-how or someone told me how. And everything settled. So a man walks up to me. Jim Senor is sitting here. He remembers Larry. He says, they're going to destroy you tonight.
This is CBS?
It was with the NBC thing.
NBC, right, yeah.
So he said, they're going to destroy tonight. I said, no, they won't. I said, do you remember what Gamaliel said in the book of Acts?
Acts 5.
If a work be of God, no one can touch it or destroy it.
Amen.
I said, Larry, I don't need a network to destroy me. If God did not call me, I would have destroyed myself already. So that's what I said.
That's right. Would you say that has been, first of all, when you started out in the ministry, you obviously didn't have that. You didn't have much attack from the media.
No. Actually, when I began in ministry, the news media in Canada loved us all.
Right.
I was called the man of love in the Globe and Mail.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I had front page coverage in the Toronto Star.
What year is this?
That was in the 70s.
Okay. So
I was on. Listen, I had a primetime program on City TV
yeah.
Sunday nights in Toronto, and everybody in the city knew me, and they gave me front page coverage in the Star and the Globe and the Sun, all three newspapers,
Wow.
and everything they said was beautiful.
I'm changing your name on my phone to Man of Love. That's a great name. That's a great.
Well, but that's what they call me. But then it all changed.
When?
I left Toronto, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved to Florida.
Okay.
And I lived at the time in Cocoa Beach
Okay.
for a while. And then I moved to Orlando.
Okay.
So right after that, after I moved from Canada, from Toronto,
Right.
two very well-known evangelists, I don't want to name names,
Yeah, that's fine.
got into some
Something.
whatever,
And the blowback.
and it became big, big news. And every day on the news, that's all you saw. And the opinion of really the country, the United States and the world became negative towards preachers,
Right.
and that's when things changed, sadly. But prior to that, no, everybody loved us and honored us. I remember when when I lived in Canada, and I would come to the U.S. to preach. I did not need a visa
Oh, wow.
or even a passport.
Wow.
I would just show my driver's license from Canada, and the fellow would say, "Why are you coming?" I'd say, "I'm coming to preach the gospel." He'd say, "Welcome."
Oh, wow.
And that was in the 70s.
Mm.
Everything changed when those preachers did and said what they did. Everything changed.
Was that painful for you?
Oh, yeah. Now, I will say this. It's always painful. It's always because we're human. We don't lose our humanity. We don't lose our feelings. But that the peace of God becomes more real than our hurts.
Wow. Wow.
Because the Lord now gives us that peace because He assures us He called us. So
Yeah.
preparation is very, very important. But I will say this. You have, and I'm talking to you, if you're not in ministry, or you're thinking about ministry, or maybe you just started in ministry, make sure you're called, or otherwise don't touch it. Don't do it. Because you will bring harm to your own life and to others, which you don't need. Make sure you're called. And the majority of people who survive in ministry are called when they're children.
Wow.
Some from the womb. God usually doesn't wait to call people. He usually calls them when they're young,
Wow. That's powerful.
or when they are not even born. That the mother dedicates, or the family, or the mom and dad dedicate the child to the Lord. So when people say, "Well, God called me," I usually want to ask when. When did that happen? How do you know?
Right.
But you leave it alone because you don't want to.
Get into that.
Yeah, you don't want to get into that. But the only ones I know that survived were Oral, Rex Humbard, Catherine Kuhlman, and others like these people. And I knew Oral and Rex very well. Very well. They Oral Roberts was my neighbor, and I spent a lot of time with him for 20 years.
That's amazing.
Rex Humbard used to come and preach on my crusades on Friday mornings. Jim remembers that.
Wow.
And so many of them, from David Duplessis to Derek Prince,
All right.
they were all friends. And every one of them told me God called them from the womb.
Wow. So how do you know that God called you from the womb?
Oh, your mom will tell you that she dedicated you to the Lord.
Right.
Or the Lord Himself will reveal Himself to you at a young age.
So in your case, your parents dedicated you to the Lord.
My mom dedicated me to the Lord before I was born, because in our part of the world, the Middle East, to have a daughter first is shame. So my mom had my sister Rose
Okay.
first. Now you got to understand that in those days there was a war
Yeah.
between Jordan and Israel, and my mom's family fled to Ramallah, and Ramallah was under Jordanian rule at the time. So my dad's family stayed in Jaffa. In 1948, when Israel became a nation, the majority of the Arab population, Christian and Muslim, fled to Arab countries.
Oh, wow.
So my mom's family left Jaffa, went to Ramallah. My dad's family stayed in Jaffa.
Wow.
But the families were already connected
That's right.
because my mom's brother married my dad's sister already. So it was already
What?
a marriage.
Wow.
Okay?
Right.
So my mom and my dad already knew each other
Mm-hmm.
because
Their siblings
my
were married.
mom's
Right.
brother and my dad's
Dad's
sister
sister.
were married.
That's crazy.
And well, it was lovely too.
Yeah.
So my dad crossed the border, he walked
Okay.
through no man's land
Yeah.
to ask for my mom's hand from her father.
Oh my goodness.
Walked back through no man's land. He could have gotten killed over that. And then had to go back and marry her and bring her back to Israel and marry her twice because of different
Yeah.
laws. So when my mom came to Jaffa, she was by herself because her family, her father, her mother, her brothers and
Ramallah.
sisters were in Ramallah, and they could not come across the border
Right.
because of the war.
Mm-hmm.
And only once a year, Christians like us could cross into then Jordan
Right.
for Christmas,
Oh,
only
wow.
for 3 days. Only for 3 days. So the only time my mom saw her family was 3 days a
days in
year at
December.
Christmas,
Right.
and we'd go with her. So, anyways, so she was by herself. So imagine a young girl
Mm-hmm.
by herself with in-laws that weren't exactly very nice to her.
Right.
She
This
was
is
by
in
herself
Jaffa.
in Jaffa.
Right.
So my grandmother on my father's side
Yeah.
was not too nice to my mother.
Right.
My grandfather was on my
Right.
father, but my grandmother was not. So when my mom had my sister Rose, my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
my dad's mom,
Yeah.
said, "Shame on you."
Because she had a girl.
Yeah, she had a
Okay.
girl. And the whole family kind of looked down at her. So she prayed.
Wow.
And she was looking towards the ocean.
Wow.
And she said, "Lord," because we lived on the map.
Yeah.
She said, "Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you."
Wow.
That was me.
Wow. You didn't get a say.
Huh?
You didn't have a say in it.
Hallelujah. So
That's
so
amazing.
then she had a dream
Yeah.
the night before I was born.
Wow.
And she saw me come. And I looked identical to the one that she saw when I was old,
Oh.
right before she passed away.
Wow.
And I put a blanket on her.
Wow.
And so she woke up from the dream.
Hmm.
I'm in her tummy now.
Yeah.
This is when I was born,
Yeah.
the day I was born.
Wow.
I'm in her tummy. She woke up and she said to my father and to his mother and to the nurse, she said, "I just saw my son." Because back then they didn't know it was a boy or girl.
Yeah, of course.
So she said, "I just saw my son."
Wow.
And she described how I looked.
Wow.
And she told them the dream that I came and covered her with a blanket.
Wow.
And my grandmother said, "Oh, no, it's all in your mind.
Oh.
It's not real." And my father said nothing. And the nurse said, "No, I believe her.
Wow.
I believe her."
Wow.
When I was a little boy, after I was born, when I was a little boy, Jesus appeared to me
Wow.
in my room.
Okay.
And that's when I knew something was
About
different.
your life. Yeah.
And I remember that this powerful electric current went on my body. And I can close my eyes now and I can tell you exactly what he looked like, even now,
Wow.
to this second.
Wow.
I will never forget his face. I'll never forget his eyes.
Wow.
And I saw the nail prints.
That's amazing.
But then I said to my mom the next morning, I said, "Mom, I saw Jesus." She didn't know what to say. So she said, "You must be a saint. But here's something that is amazing to me."
Yeah.
So I went to a Catholic school,
Yeah,
So
you
in
told me.
preschool, the nun would take us for walks. So we're taking the class. So we're all walking.
Yeah.
So the nun looks at the kids. I was probably 7 years old, I don't know, 8, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So she's asking all the kids, what will you be when you grow up? What do you want to be? So when she comes, I said, priest. I want to be a priest.
Oh, that's amazing. That's the call.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
got
call
it.
right there.
I always knew in my heart I
Right.
would serve God in some way, because to me, priest, because I was, in a Catholic school, I
course.
was thinking, well, that's the way
to
you serve God.
But you've had all this before you were born, and all these experiences, even how you got saved, such a precious story in class,
Yeah.
and Jesus.
But, again,
Mhm.
God doesn't do it with everybody like that.
Of course not. He didn't do it with me like that.
Yeah.
But in spite of all that, have you ever had times when you felt like quitting the ministry?
Have I ever had time?
Felt like quitting the ministry?
No,
Never.
never. I love the Lord so much. I was discouraged. You know what? Here's what I said. I said, had I known,
Right.
like
The cost.
had I known the cost, I would have said, Lord, thank you very much. Had I known the cost. But no, never.
But what is the cost?
Your life.
Yeah, I know. But what would you say?
They will lie about you. They will hate you. They'll accuse you falsely, and a whole lot more.
What would you say has been the most difficult thing for you?
Family. Seeing how my family
Right.
had to suffer and the things they went through, because I can handle it, they could not.
Yeah.
My children especially, it was hard for them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do want to get
Let's
into
go into the test.
yeah, I do want to get into something that
I have my Bible out. Go.
okay. So if you want God to use you,
Mhm.
you've gotta know how it begins. So if you can read for me 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 20 and 21.
Yep. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor.
Yeah.
If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
Well, so it talks about vessels of clay. So we are really vessels of clay, basically.
Yeah.
And you have to know what happens to clay, and I think it fits with a lot of what God allows with it. Clay, number one, must be dug.
Huh. Okay.
God has to find us. We can't find him. Number two, separated.
Wow. Okay.
God will not use you if you're not willing to be dug, and secondly, separated from the world. Number three, washed.
Hold on. Separated because the clay always has to be desilted, right? And
They wash the clay,
they wash it out, right?
Yeah.
Impurities. Okay.
but they dig it, they separate it, and then they wash it. And in the realm of the spirit, when God chooses somebody, he will pick them out, like dig them out.
Wow.
Then he separates,
Wow.
meaning they've got to come out of the world
Right.
or leave their friends behind,
Exactly. Yeah.
and then he will wash them. But then something else God does, which happens to the clay. He'll soak them.
Oh.
They must be soaked. Clay is soaked.
So what does that mean?
Well, soaked because it becomes pliable.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's a very good process. We have to go through some soaking. But here's the part that people don't know. Why am I going through it? Clay is then smitten. They smite it.
Wow.
They start smiting the clay for it to be useful. And then they begin to, now this happens all in the natural. They begin to investigate it for air bubbles by sticking a thin wire in it. Boop, 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 like that. And that's what God does with us sometimes.
Okay.
There's a time for investigation.
Explain.
I'm sitting in the back of a car.
Okay.
God says, I want you to give up this. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes. He goes through a list with me. He's investigating me, whether I'll give it up. I was in love with a girl named Michelle.
Favorite story. Keep going.
Oh, you like
I
that?
love that story. Yeah. Tell it again.
And God said, give her up. I said, Lord, please, no, not that one.
Anything but.
Anything but Michelle.
Oh gosh.
I was perspiring in the back of that car because I never thought God would ask me to give her up. She was a very spiritual girl.
Wow.
And we were very dear friends in the catacombs. She and I never talked about marriage or anything like that. We were just really close friends. And everybody, I guess, thought, Benny and Michelle probably will end up,
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm in the back of the car with Jim Pointer driving, and I'm like really going through it. And I'm really fighting.
Mm.
And then I said, yes, Lord.
Wow.
When I said yes, it was the week after, that God touched me at Catherine Cummins.
Oh wow. Oh, I thought it was after. It was before.
Oh, yeah, it was
Wow.
before.
Wow.
Happened before.
So you were with Jim Pointer, your pastor?
With Jim.
So that's the investigation for air bubbles.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, you'll hear more of this special podcast as Pastor Joshua Hayward Mills of First Love Church in Accra, Ghana, continues his interview with Pastor Benny on the subject, The Tests of Ministry. You don't want to miss it.